Join me today as we cut out all the pieces for our pair of leopard's print pajamas for our dolls. Join me and see how easy this project is to do. All right, today we are getting ready to sew our set of pajamas. And for that, I've done some work ahead of time off screen because we covered it when we made the t-shirt and the shorts. So I've found all my pattern pieces and they're all ironed and cut out and ready to go. My instructions here. And I have my fabrics. Now this fabric, this is our main fabric. It is a knit because this calls for a cotton single knit. And this has been pre-washed, dried, and pressed to get the wrinkles out. It's important that when you're sewing, you don't use fabric softener when you wash your fabrics. Now, the ribbing. This is ribbing. It's made to go around the neck and the cuffs and stuff. This you don't pre-wash. It's one of the few things you don't want to pre-wash before you sew with it. So now we have two sets of pattern pieces. We have the pattern pieces that go with the ribbing and the pattern pieces that go with the fabric, our main fabric. Our pants go with our main fabric. Most of our ones, in fact, these are going to be the ones for our ribbing. And they're going to be rectangular pattern pieces. We have the neckband, the leg band, and the sleeve band. And I'm going to put those off to the side with my ribbing. Now we have our pattern pieces for our pajamas. We have the pants, and that's a front and back all in one piece. Top front, top back, and sleeve. These pieces should look pretty familiar to us because we cut up very similar pieces for our t-shirt and our shorts. So let me get the fabric laid out the way I'm going to have it laid out to cut, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got my fabric folded. We're going to have right sides together, and that's the way you should cut out most fabrics. The exception we made was with that t-shirt last time because it was made with a ready-made t-shirt. Now the pattern shows you to fold it in the middle and use the whole width of fabric. We don't need to do that. Our pattern pieces are not going to take up that much space. And quite frankly, I'm kind of confused why they had me buy this much fabric because I don't need this much fabric. So we have 4 pieces to cut out and we need to look at them. This symbol, we had this on the last one too. This shows that it goes on the fold. I always put my pieces that go on the fold down first, because they have a specific place they have to go. I can't put them wherever they fit. They have to go on the fold. Everything has to work around them. So I'm going to pin this one on. I'll pin a couple of pieces on camera, and then I'm going to turn the camera off and pin the rest of them on, and then I'll come back and talk to you. So let's get this one pinned on. Make sure you put enough pins in that it holds the pattern piece where you want it, especially when you're beginning. Now, one of the things I like about this fabric is I don't have to match design. There's no big design. It's an all-over design that doesn't have to be matched. That makes my job a lot easier when it comes to cutting out fabric. Also, make sure that the stretch goes around the body, just like on our t-shirt. So I'm going to pin this one here. I'm going to pin these like this. When I get them all pinned, I will be back and we'll talk about what we do next. Alright, I have all 4 pieces pinned down. Now be sure when you are pinning your fabric and cutting it out, you don't use the selvage, this part that's not printed, on either woven or knit fabrics, because it will react differently in the laundry. Now I'm going to really quickly just cut out the first piece for you, and then I need to go plug my camera in before the battery dies completely. But just like before, we're cutting out our pieces. You'll notice I scooted these together because I saved a good piece of fabric there. I can use that on something else, on another project in the future. I saved my scraps that are big enough to use again in a container in a storage room, and that way I've got them for future projects. I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to finish cutting this out. I'm going to charge my battery, and then I'll be back. right, I have these pattern pieces all cut, and the only thing we have left to cut is our ribbing. Now, there's a couple of things to keep in mind about ribbing. There is a definite right way to do this. It stretches this way, not this way. This is the part that goes around the bolt of fabric. So that's the part that needs to be the longest on your piece. Now, this says for the neckband we need 1. We need 2 sleeve bands and 2 leg bands. And this is double. I'm not going to turn this inside out. I'm just going to cut it the way it is. Now, if you've got a rotary cutter and a rotary cutter ruler, that is the easier way to cut this. But I'm going to do it with the pattern piece this time to show you how to do that. Make sure that you are straight. And your pins might fight with you going across. Just be patient. Put them in without moving things around too much. And make sure you're not stretching anything. Now, I think I mentioned earlier, but I don't remember for sure since I filmed the earlier part of this video yesterday. Ribbing, I never pre-wash. It just doesn't work right if you do. Now this one, since my fold is right here, and I only need 1, it's got a center line. See, this is your center front line. And this is the same on both sides. I'm actually just going to cut this on the fold rather than opening the fabric up because I find it much easier to cut my fabric in 2 layers than 1 layer, especially on a knit. I find it's much easier to cut knit straight when I'm cutting 2 layers. Just make sure you line up that fold line with the fold of your fabric with the center front line. That'll save you a little step. And then we're going to do this. And then I am going to go ahead. I'll go ahead and turn the camera off to get this cut out because it's going to take me a few minutes. I'll get this cut out and then I'll come back and we will do the marking of our pattern pieces. Alright, so let me bring you down a little bit. Now I'm going to be cutting any notches. Now this one doesn't need anything notched. This does. This is our neckband. And we have 2 notches right here. Be sure that you don't cut them too far because I'm going to cut them really shallow. I don't want this to take a chance on going past my seam line. And then the cuffs, the sleeve band also has a notch. It actually has 1 on each side. That helps you to get these folded straight. That's why there's 2. Alright, now let's get our pattern pieces. Let's really quickly go through our pattern pieces. Hopefully I had that under camera. Let me go up just a little bit. There. I am going to, again, cut my notches. These sleeve notches are probably the most important notches on the whole garment. And we've got one up here on the shoulder. Yeah. Remembering this on this piece to look at the camera. Okay, I'll get that removed later. And this is the one. This one coordinates to this one. This is where these go together. Now let's get our cuff, our sleeve. Our sleeve has a notch. This is the notch. Remember that one we just cut in the cuff? That's the one that goes with it. Here's the front notch for our sleeve. And remember, like last time, I'm just going to make a snip right where that dot is. That way I can line it up with the shoulder seam. Trying to do this so that I have it where the camera is seeing it and I'm not moving it too much and still where I can see it. It's kind of a challenge. Now I'm going to cut these on the video. When I'm sewing myself, I don't generally cut these, mark these notches here. Oh, I missed one here too. And this one also. There's one here. I'll mark it for the purpose of the video. At this point in my sewing, Generally, I don't notch those. But for the video, I'm showing you to notch it. A lot of these ones, once you've been sewing for a while and you're more advanced, some of the notches really you don't need anymore. But like the sleeve ones, I still always cut these. Always. Oops. Hopefully I wasn't off olive for the whole thing. This one I always cut. If I was doing this myself without the video, not for video, I would skip these two. Now, excuse me, on the pants, we have 3 here, which shows us that this is the back. And those are important for a couple of reasons. You want to make sure that you're getting your back pieces, your back to your back, not your back to your front, because they won't fit right. And here too, if I was doing this myself, not on video, I probably wouldn't cut this one. I would probably only cut the ones up here in the crotch seam. And I'm not going to mark this dot here until later. I'm not sure what this one is for even right at the moment. So that's all our pieces cut out and marked, and I think because I'm running out of time this week, it's been kind of a hectic couple of weeks for me, I am going to stop the video here, and then next week we will start sewing. Probably on the pajama pants first, I'm betting, but we'll see when we get that far. So if you have any questions, be sure and ask me either in the comments below or on the Facebook group or as a comment on the blog. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I urge you to do so. Hit the notification bell so you know when I upload again. If you hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. Let's grow this channel. I'd like to hit over, let's get this one up to 1,000 in the next couple of weeks. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.